Hey guys, good evening. This is Spirit Journey. Today is November 1st, 2015, and it's about 5 in the afternoon. And wow, I watched a video today. I watched it twice. I thought it was so compelling. I saw it on YouTube, and the name of the video is The Ancient Sumerian Cuneiform Tablets, True Meaning Revealed. It is something else. Basically, what it's about is that the Old Testament, the Bible, and the story about the Sumerians, which give reference to the Anunnaki, are one and the same story. And that the ancient Hebrews, the concept of God was in the beginning with their story, a mistranslation. The person in the video that I was watching, he used the term Dingir, which is spelled D as in David, I-N, and then the second word G as in girl, I-R. He says, at least he believes, that that term really means the Holy One of the rocket, like the rocket ship. And that you had the Mesopotamians, and I'm sorry, switching hands. You had the Mesopotamians, and they had their language system. And they were able to, because you have more than one, they were able to take the language of one group and then have the equivalent in some of the other groups that was living at that time. So they were able to know and translate what something means with these translations. And he mentions like the I'm not sure which Mesopotamian language this one is, but the Ilu or Ilani or Iluti in that Mesopotamian language means God. But he feels that it was mistranslated. And then by the time the Hebrews that we know of, that their word El, which is similar to Elu, or Eloah, similar to Ilani, and then Elohim, similar to Iluti. And for the Hebrews, that means God. But the original link and the translation of that word God comes from the term Dingir. So he's saying the early writings of Dingir, it's not God, but the Hebrews translated it incorrectly as God, like with a capital G. These weren't gods, these were beings, and these were beings from another world, and that they came to this planet on some type of craft. The film that I watched on YouTube, they showed pictures of etchings of things that looked like spacecrafts. It was just amazing, okay? And then he mentions about Noah, and that there story accounts of Noah in Mesopotamian literature from Sumer. And it was just very interesting. Then, let me see here. He also makes mention Sargon the Great. I think that's in the book, The Epic of Gilgamesh, also a Mesopotamian literature, ancient literature. And then this Sargon the Great is equivalent to Moses. And in both accounts, they talk about the story of his birth. They both have similar birth accounts. And then he makes mention about another Mesopotamian character called Inanna, and that she, in the Mesopotamian literature, gives an account how she changed water into blood, and the same as Moses, and that Moses also had the water turn into blood. At least, the God of Moses worked within him to cause this change in the water. But it was very similar. But it just really started to really click that it was almost, oh yeah, it was actually a year ago that this particular YouTuber that I've been following, Vera747, had her book published. This time it's called The Age of Unknown, The Age of Unknown, Unmasking the Magicians, the Bible Exposed. And she basically was saying the same thing about how the stories of the Bible, that they're actually the characters in the ancient Sumerian literature. And it was kind of hard for me to swallow. But watching this video, it just seemed like the pieces are starting to come together, and it seems more credible how, because the information that, you can see it, hear it, he showed different things, pictures, and he was able to explain things, and I was able to follow along a little easier. So I started asking myself, wow, well, I was just amazed. And the question with this, there's two things I want to say. The first thing is the count of, with Genesis, with the serpent, it being prophesied that the serpent will nip at his heel, and then that person's going to crush his head, and that story I thought supposed to link with the book of Revelation and the destruction of the serpent. So where does this all fit in, I'm wondering whether in the Sumerian literature, do they have an equivalent, savior type of character? I need to find that out. And then the second thing that I wanted to share with you is who is this Moses? Now, I was thinking, okay, if Moses and the story about Sargon the Great are the same account, same people, I asked myself, well, how come Moses was given that position to have access to all this information? His mother was a slave, but she had access to the royal family of Egypt, and specifically the sister. And of course, she put Moses in the basket and then put him in the water, and then the princess had found the basket with the baby Moses inside. So if he's a slave, why didn't they just throw him away or whatever? But I'm starting to think, now if these rulers of Egypt are all descendants of the Anunnaki, the royal family, the reason why they didn't kill Moses as a baby. Well, I'm speculating. I think Moses was a half-breed, that Moses was mixed with Anunnaki and the Hebrew woman. You notice in the Old Testament, they never give reason of, they never discuss Moses' father. They just talk about his mother and his siblings, at least two of the siblings, Miriam and Aaron. And so why is this? So just like in slavery in the Americas, a lot of times, you might have an account of somebody's, of children and the mother, but a lot of times they don't say who the father is. And you know why? A lot of times the father was the slave master, I don't want to say master, slave master, but oppressor. That's the accurate term. He was the oppressor. And so like Moses, Moses' mother had access to the royal family. She, her kid worked for them. I'm thinking that Moses' mother had a child with the ruler of Egypt or some official, and that's why when he was born, he looked a little bit like them. Remember they said that he was a special child, it was something different. Well, the same thing like slavery in the Americas, when you had an offspring, the byproduct of a black African woman and a European male, that they might have some feelings for the child because of the mixture, that they can see, yes, he's mixed part of us, and they gave him favor. He had access to all the literature of the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians. So that's what's coming to me. And so Moses had all these stories with about the Anunnaki, and he just incorporated it for his culture. I don't know why Moses had, why they branched off and formed a new colony. I'm just thinking he could have stayed. I don't know. It's just other thought, things to think about, and because everything has an answer to it, but it seems like Moses had a mission and something about the Middle East, So I think slowly the pieces are coming together, and I would like to know what is the connection of Canaan, the land of Canaan, to Moses. And again, the promise wasn't given to Moses, but to Abraham. Why was this Abraham? Maybe Abraham also was a descendant of the Anunnaki, and he just, for whatever reason, and in fact with Abraham, it was his father that initially started the journey, but his father dies, and he continues on the journey and fulfills his father's dream. So perhaps, that line, they were possibly Anunnaki, and they wanted to set up some headquarters in the land of Canaan for whatever reason. So this is just food for thought. And again, I'm on my spirit journey, and I'm trying to put the pieces together to make sense out of what this modern world is all about. So please feel free to comment below or to share this video with friends or family. You could also subscribe, and once again, to give me the thumbs up. Peace, guys. Bye-bye.